Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning on the west side of the map playing in red, we've got beastyqt playing as the Order of the Dragon, and his opponent in the east side of the map playing in blue, we've got Corvinus 1 playing as the Byzantines. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening of course, or it kind of depends where you are in the world. Either way, I hope you guys are doing very well. We're back again with some Age of Empires 4 action with the Order of the Dragon, which is a faction which is, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one, right? I feel like it's a faction that was, or civilization I should say, really, that has initially done pretty well in Age of Empires 4 when it came out, but then all of a sudden it's kind of hit a bit of a roadblock. I don't know if it's the case that other civilizations have just gotten a little bit better, quite possibly. I mean, when you think about better civilizations, Byzantines certainly come to mind. They're an incredibly strong civilization at the moment, despite the little nerf that they had with the olive groves now costing a little bit more wood. Despite that, they seem to be in a really good spot. We shall see how this one turns out, whether Beasty can find out some responses to the Byzantine army, which typically often scales really well with the olive oil coming in with the mercenaries. They can get a lot of units in the mid-game, and it really helps them with their castle age timing, and also being able to get those relics and then pushing on from there. The Order of the Dragon, a little bit more of a slow civilization to get going. Takes a bit of time, of course, but when they do get rocking and rolling, can become really powerful. Played in many ways a similar way to the HRE, the Holy Roman Empire. They can get to the Imperial Age with the Palace of Swabia. They can do a lot of work. The only thing I have concerns about the Order of the Dragon is that up against a civilization like the Byzantines that do really well in the Castle Age, the big question is whether the Order of the Dragon can get to that Imperial Age without suffering too much damage. We shall see if that ends up being the case today on Dry Arabia. Now, I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. I know I took a bit of a break recently, but we are back in action with Age of Empires 4. We're going to be playing it a little bit more steady, a little bit slowly. Maybe a video every 3 days, and just to keep things ticking along, get the continued experience of casting Age of Empires 4. But also, I want to kind of make sure that I only cast the very best games. There's a tendency if you try and upload a video every day that you start to make videos or cast games that aren't necessarily the very best or particularly exciting or showcasing the very best players that people really want to watch. But if you have a video every 3 days, you're a little less pressured to pump out content, and you can be a bit more selective with what you choose to put out there. So that's what we're going to really aim to do. I guess quality, not quantity, and it saves me from being burnt out like maybe it happened a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, Order of the Dragon, Byzantines, two very popular civilizations. I think a lot of people do like them. And of course, everyone loves to watch beastyqt and Corvinus 1, two great players in Age of Empires 4. Great personalities as well, big part of the community, no doubt about it. Got Beasty, obviously one of the very best players in Age of Empires 4, and probably one of the most entertaining streamers there are. And then you've got Corvinus, who actually similar sort of fitting the bill. Maybe not as strong as a player, but definitely as exciting. Obviously known as a mega random connoisseur. He does enjoy a good mega random. And also FFAs, of course, with some crazy strategies. I don't think we'll see anything too crazy out today, because we do see the Grand Winery opening for the Byzantines, giving the extra olive oil, gathering from the berries, and the Order of the Dragon go for the Ark Chapel. Interesting spot, actually, for it. Obviously, we'll cover the food and the sheep, and also stone and wood. The question is he going to go for stone outcropping for arrow slits, which is always a possibility for this outpost? Probably likely, right? Unlikely to be a second town center. I think it's a bit tricky, right? Because in this sort of matchup, I feel like the Byzantines definitely dictate the tempo. They can get a couple of units, does sometimes force the Order of the Dragon to make units themselves, which delays their castle age time, but of course the mercenaries being used for the Byzantines mean that it doesn't really take much of a hit on their economy, right, for the Byzantines. So they still have a really good fast castle timing. And you can see with 4 villages going on to gold, that's probably going to be what's on show here for the Byzantines. The west side just going to wall up, minimal wood investment of course, and we'll be able to stop any sort of early harassment on the west side with potentially horsemen from the Byzantines. We'll have to see what he actually opens up with. I mean, obviously he's got the mercenary house first. You kind of typically expect to see the western mercenary contract, longbows. It's a really powerful unit for the Byzantines. I'd be surprised to see anything else today out of Corvinus. Aristus is in play already, by the way, for the Order of the Dragon. Looks like Beasty is going to go for the castle age himself. And possibly with the Regnus Cathedral, which could be important. Pick up those relics and you're in a good spot. As the castle age timing should be quite nice there for Beasty. But the question is whether Corvinus can do some damage in the meantime, because here's the longbows starting to be queued up. They make their way across the map sooner rather than later. My question is, we don't often see it, but it's always good checking out for the Byzantines. The trade post, the neutral trade post. Could get mercenary Magadai. Get mercenary desert raiders. I don't think we will, because obviously you have to actually send a villager all the way out there, and I don't think Magadai are usually considered too great as a 1v1 unit. The 1v1 game mode. We'll see. Looks like Beasty should be able to get to the next stage a bit quicker than the Byzantines actually overall, all things considered. Lovely position in the house. Now, border settlements does offer a lot of goodness for the Byzantines. Extra line of sight, extra scouting, extra sort of early warning system, if you like. And in many ways, this is quite a nice upgrade, because you just place the houses and you don't necessarily need outposts because of the line of sight you get. It's so big that you've generally got time to react. Speaking of reacting, well, Beasty might have to react to these longbows. If he doesn't get an outpost on this west side, this could be ranged. It could be pushed off of gold, which is not a good situation, really. If you're in the castle age, when you want to pump out heavily armoured units, it will be the Regnant's Cathedral, so Beasty is certainly looking to try and get those relics nice and early. Now, water level 2 for the Byzantines means that the villagers will gather a little bit faster, of course, and also being able to produce units faster. It's a really nice buff on this, 14% extra gather rate on these villagers, which is covering pretty much everything, right? He needs. He's got the berries covered, he's got the gold covered as well, which is and the food, of course. Very nice. And the other system going to be covering the stone and wood as needed. Longbows pushing the villagers away from gold for now, temporarily, just having to redirect that. But you can see the range for the longbow is really powerful here. Now he spots the age up, can't really deny it because of the location of it. It's quite close to the town centre. I mean, he might try and force Beasty to garrison villagers inside. We shall see how he does. He's going to delay the timing as much as he possibly can, right? And it's actually really important because every second matters here. With the Byzantines now going to the next stage as well, it means that, well, it's going to be a bit more equipped to deal with picking up those relics. Stable being made, and looks like he's going to go for some gilded horsemen, which would be great for the longbowmen. Of course, it then lends itself well for the Byzantines to get for Limitane. Go for the Golden Horn Tower. No real surprises. Very typically chosen these days. Gets mercenary units for free every so often. Can't argue with that. Heading to almost the 8-minute mark on the clock. And yeah, everything all is well really in this matchup. You kind of expect it to be in this sort of direction. Both players going for the castle age. But the tricky part for Beasty is that this gold vein, whilst it's at the back, it's just not really easy to keep safe, right? It's just... yeah, sure, there's a longer travel distance for his enemy to get out of there, but if he goes for stable units, of course, Corvinus might be in a good spot. Get wrap around on the back gold and try and deny the gatherers. But for now, looks like Corvinus is heading back with his longbows. Can play a bit defensively, it seems, and just to try and get those units on the field. That's a lot of villagers and gold. He's going to be pumping pretty soon, right? Yeah, he's going to go for Cataphract. Wow, okay, this is an interesting early opening. Wasn't expecting to see that. That's the first non-mercenary unit that Corvinus has gone for. I mean, I say I'm not expecting to see that, but, you know, it's Corvinus, right? Of course. Not usually considered the strongest units in 1v1 gameplay because it's so expensive, but actually in this matchup makes a lot of sense because he's going to go up against, well, Gilded Horsemen. Maybe even Gilded Knights, and they are incredibly powerful. Very expensive, though, so... be hard to afford here for Beasty on the minimal economy he's got right now. Speaking of, there is the Gilded Knight. Takes quite a few shots from the longbows. The Cataphracts will be able to tank quite heavily. Look at the size of that lance on this, the Gilded Knight. Holy moly, Cataphract should be able to chase this down, by the way. It has a faster movement speed. 1.5 versus the 1.6. Wait, what? Huh? Am I missing something here? Wait, what? Yeah, I don't understand that. It visually looks like the Cataphract is actually catching up, but apparently the Cataphract has a faster movement speed. Okay, anyway, ignoring that fact. Relic being brought back by Corvinus. One apiece in terms of what's in their clutches. I could have sworn that the Cataphract was at least on par with the movement speed. Apparently not, though. But it is what it is. Cataphract clearly a very, very slow unit. Slower than I expected. Second Gilded Knight coming out on the field now, and Nice positioning in the middle. I think Corvinus, you know, with the border settlements upgrade, he must have a lot of vision on the map. Take a look at that. He sees so much. Got good vision on the other side of the wood line. Wait, has he got it yet? Yeah, he has got it. Felt like the line of sight would have been a bit bigger there, but... Oh, here's what it is. I was researching it. There. Now it's in. Now it's in. There we go. There we go. There's the vision. Beautiful. Give it a night. Just going to wrap around on these longbows. Not going to be able to do too much of those longbows. Snaps out the prelate. And unfortunately for the Order of the Dragon, they're going to run out of options picking up that relic. Not going to be able to get it in the end. Two counterfacts come to the rescue. And the great thing for Beasty, if you can peel those units back and heal on them up, like they are doing right here with the prelate, very commonly chosen strategy for the Order of the Dragon. Very important to do this, actually, because they're so strong. These units, they can survive, and also they're so premium. If you can do that, you can save a lot of money. And that's going to give them a heck of a lot of vision. Look at that. He sees south border of the map incredibly well. And he's going to wall up the north. So Corvinus is going to be playing this very nicely and protected. Interesting enough, he's going to be making, you know, plenty of units out of the stable, and also continues to make mercenaries too. And the power of that is that if you can put some pressure on the map, mercenaries are effectively a relatively cost-effective and cheap set of units to make, right? Olive oil is getting it either way when he gets food, so very strong for him. The question is, can he use those units and put Beasty back a little bit, or is Beasty going to be thinking about going to the Imperial Age? Because he's got a lot of gold in bank. Just struggling on the food, of course. Speaking of which, he's now moving a lot of villages over to food on the deer pack. Double deer stack. This could be an important location for Corvinus to actually try and challenge, actually. Shall see. Oh, snipes out the monk, and actually, well, that's nicely done. 2 relics apiece. That's the final one that's up for grabs for both players, but probably will end up in the clutches of the Byzantine eventually. This is a bit risky. He might lose a couple of villages here, Corvinus, but having said that, Beasty's units are trapped. So if Corvinus can take out these 2 Gilded Knights, yeah, it's going to create a bit of a playpen. So overall, not too bad actually for Corvinus. I think he lost maybe 2 villagers there in the end. I mean, if you can take out all these Gilded Knights, that'd be really powerful. He needs a gate here, though. Corvinus needs to be able to escape. He doesn't have wood for it. So the villagers have to go the long way around. Charge comes on in, and that's unfortunate. He didn't get a gate there, but he's going to have to go... Well, he's going to lose a couple here. Yikes. Maybe... Was it worth it in the end? Probably. But he does need to kill the Gilded Knights first. He's having a bit of a problem doing so. Loses yet another villager. First Gilded Knight goes down, and the Scout. I think this Gilded Knight just trades, right? Should would pick off 2 villagers here if he micros well. He didn't pick off the weak one first. There's the second. Yeah, he loses 2 in the end anyway. Beasty loses the Gilded Knight in the end. But you know what? I think possibly that's okay for Corvinus, because he's got a lot of army now. He's going to push on forward, and guess what? There's nothing to defend here. Losing units as the Order of the Dragon is really painful. But yeah, he's going to play a very... He's going to go for the Imperial Age. Holy smoke, this is super greedy. He's only got 9 military units, or 9 population supply worth of units. But I guess the Order of the Dragon going to do what they do best, which is get the Palace of Swabia and get plenty of outposts. Maybe look to get those bombard emplacements. And it'd be pretty okay. I say pretty okay. It depends how much of a push comes in from Corvinus. Now, obviously, the relics inside the Grand Winery means that he would be getting olive oil instead of gold for them. A very powerful landmark indeed. 2 Gilded Knights. Just going to try and drag the Cataphracts as much as possible. I don't think Corvinus takes the bait here. Like, this is all of a bit of a play for Beasty, just to try and keep the Byzantine army away from his base, right? Because he's going for the tech up. But Corvinus, he's not taking the bait. And it looks like it's going to be aggressive. I think this is the right option, right? He needs to do damage. It's a heavy investment into the Imperial Age. It's going to get a market just to balance the economy slightly here. There is that Imperial Age. It's going to try and scale the economy. The issue now is for this match, it's all about survival here for Beasty. That's all he has to do, and let the Palace of Swabia do its thing. The question is, can he survive? Because this is a lot of units, and this is not a weak army. This is a lot of Cataphracts, guys. 10 Cataphracts. These guys are absolute beefcakes. Take a look at the HP on these guys. 360. 27 base melee damage. It's a powerful unit. That's going to be a bit dicey for Beasty. He's getting the cannon emplacements, but will it come in time? I mean, he does have emergency repairs, right? So probably will. The trouble is they're going to lose a lot of units. Prelate's garrison inside the town centre. I mean, everything is pretty much idled in the main base right now, right? He's going to continue to try and spam those outposts. Just going to torch things down. Holy smokes. I might lose a couple of cataphracts. These do have relics inside, so they are extra powerful. Going to take this one down first, and he's going to cut off the relic gold, or at least he was about to until the emergency repairs comes in, but it's going to be a bit dicey. He's going to snipe out prelates maybe with longbows. No, longbows firing on the outposts. That's not really what they're made for. Okay, looks like he's just going to keep torching it down. Wallalow, but should be able to snipe. Yeah, he snipes it with the longbows, and a lot of these prelates are going to go down. Try another Wallalow. No, quite manage it. Another. No, didn't quite manage it even then to pick it up properly. Yeah, this time the outpost will go down. He's using emergency repairs, so the cataphracts managed to take it down pretty easily. He's got iron undermesh after all, right? Certainly helps. He's actually losing quite a few villagers here, down to 49. Sure, he's got the Palace of Swabia, so if he can survive the push, he could bounce back, but that's a big if. He's losing a lot of villagers to longbows. Holy smokes. Planet's projectiles came on in, by the way, so these villagers will not survive very long. What's going on with the villagers? Oh, they're trying to get in the outpost. They didn't go into the town centre. That was a bit rough in the end, and I think he loses this fortification. Yeah, it doesn't have enough time for the emergency repairs. Trying to keep it alive and repaired, but he's going to sacrifice a lot of villagers doing so. Down to 38. The timing was great here from Corvinus. Beasty absolutely getting decimated. Still got a bit of food eco there in the north, but not much remains. And you know what? Corvinus' economy back at home completely untouched. Up to water level 3. He's on the berries, getting more olive oil, getting the deer camp as well for extra food. Wouldn't be surprised to see more defensive outposts going down. Trying to get some stone walls. It's expensive, but it will keep him out, at least on this side of things. Trying to get gold income. He does have a market to balance as much as he possibly can, but he can't even spend the gold. And the food, it seems. What's he got? Has he got stable? Yeah, struggling to make units though, isn't he? Go through the palisades. He's going to spot the stone wall. Have to go around the other side. But just more of a delay thing rather than anything else. Continues to spam units. Now you wonder, does he start to add in Siphon? Could be an option for him here. Corvinus. It's got to do some infrastructural damage, right? It's all one thing getting the villager kills. It's got to make sure he takes that key infrastructure. Looks like he might just. There's a lot of vills here out for the take, and this is not going to be good for Beasty. Uh-oh. Oh no, these villagers won't even be enough space to garrison inside the cannon replacement tower. Gonna go try on the opposite side of the wall. Ah, he's been body blocked. He's not going to be able to manage to escape with many of those villagers. He's lost 29 so far. At this point, he is struggling to consolidate. Gonna get fortification. And another outpost on the other side, but Corvinus, he just keeps up the pressure. He doesn't even have to take sort of terribly good trades as long as he does trade and keeps the economy idle for Beasty. A lot of villagers still here on the deer camp. That's the mainstay of the food, actually, and Corvinus is sensing it, right? Look at it. Yeah, this is not good for Beasty. The cavalry about to charge on in. Oh no, there's villagers on deer camp. This is not going to be a pretty sight. Beasty, he's not reacted. He's not spotted it on the minimap. Trample comes on right on top of all of them, and this is going to be an absolute massacre. They get absolutely slain. Those cataphracts, holy smokes, they leave no one behind. That was a bit of an ouchie. Back onto wood again. Trying to gather as much as he possibly can. But this is looking rough. Trying to go for the gold in the north, sneakily. Maybe tries to take the boar. But he just needs as much resources as possibly can. He's being able to get a keep. So he's not down and out just yet. If there's a faction or civilization that's incredibly hard to destroy and kill, it is the Order of the Dragon and the HRE, known for their bounce back ability with the Palace of Swabia. But tell you what, this number of Siphon, that's going to be a tough ask. Relic gets garrison inside the keep, just to make it even stronger, and looks like it's going to go for the spring order placement first. Corvinus prepping a push, and that's going to be a big push as well, actually. If he takes the keep out pretty quickly, that's not going to leave him too many defenses remaining. Bear in mind, essentially all of the landmarks are in one screen, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential landmark snipe attempt. And the best thing for the Byzantines is able to take the free food off the map, right? All the deer camp, all the food that there is to have. He doesn't even need olive groves at this point. I mean, would he even win the game potentially without any olive groves? That'd be kind of insane, right? Oh no, not again. He spotted the villagers on board. Oh dear. Just a handful of cataphracts absolutely slaying those villagers. Now, granted, Beasty has managed to keep up on villagers, like, generally well, all things considered, because of the Palace of Swabia. But it's still a lot of food investment, right? So it's not as if it's a lot of food investment. You've got to bear that in consideration. Handful of Gilded Knights. There's not enough predates to really keep them alive and auto-healing them. Cataphract's going to charge on in, try and trade off as much as he possibly can here, Beasty. Gonna lose the outpost pretty quickly to the Chrysiphians. They're going to burn everything down to a crisp, it seems. Is he going to be able to get the sacred sites behind all of it? Handful of Gilded Knights, but if he snipes them off, he does. He snipes that one, possibly gets another, he does. This is not looking good at all for Beasty. He's going to lose Capital Town Centre most likely. Houses on fire. And this is nicely played by the Byzantines, I've got to say. It was a fun game. I mean, the timings were important, and the fact that Corvinus didn't get baited by the small army on the right side of the map. He went straight for the juggler in the end, and he caused a lot of idle time, killed a lot of villagers, picked off the pocket economy. Beasty was a bit greedy in that sense, but I guess anyway he had no choice. Couldn't really afford farms. In fact, in this game, I don't think there was any farms being placed at all. No olive groves either. There's a relic inside the keep to help it survive a little bit. It's going to come out with the repairs on the village, try and keep it alive as possible. I mean, he's got more villages now than the Byzantines rather, which is kind of crazy to think about. Emergency repairs comes out on the keep. He's going to try and repair with the villagers, but he's going to lose them, right? This is a problem. They're dancing around. They don't know what to do with themselves. He's going to lose the Ranks Cathedral. Emergency repairs, I'm not sure. Yeah, he's got a long wait for the next cooldown. Longbows are going to snipe the repairing villagers. The garrison inside now, but this is not looking good. He can try and burn the Chrysiphians down if he can. Let's go around the back of the Chrysiphian, right? Because the Greek fire affects them too. But it's down to 48 villagers, down to 0 military here, Beasty, and there's surely no way. He loses the keep. I'm sure he'll lose one on in here on in, but he's going to try and burn down the Chrysiphian, but that's probably not the best of ideas. Looks like he loses the outpost as well. Relic gets ungarrisoned, and yeah, this is going to be over, but Beasty, he tried his best to hang on. Corvinus, with a really good timing with the Byzantines, and nicely done. Managed to punish the fast Imperial, the greedy play there for Beasty, and, well, the Byzantines, an incredibly strong civilization, continues to prove to be so. And Beasty not able to come up with the responses today to try and challenge this. All that remains is to see that GG. Burns the Palace of Swabia to a crisp. All that remains is the Arkan Chapel. I'm sure he won't wait until then. But yeah, down to 0 military, down to 37 villagers. Oh, wait, did the military Bez get that? Actually, he manages to save it. So, funnily enough, somehow. And he is really struggling. I mean, ultimately, he's not been able to put any pressure on his enemy. And look at the olive groves coming in now for Corvinus. Doesn't need him, but he'll get him anyway. Plenty of food coming in that way. Didn't even need to change it over to the income per minute. Didn't really need to in the end. The Arkan Chapel, gonna go down. It will be a landmark snipe. Well, I mean, eventually anyway. I'm sure the Chrysiphian will start to make work on the Palace of Swabia. It's still Beasty trying to keep it alive and repaired. I guess you feel like he's always a way back when you got the Palace of Swabia. It's going to be in flames now. Villagers coming out to torch. But that's going to be bad if the Greek fire comes on out. In fact, he's got a couple of cataphracts. He'll be fine. And there's just no way these villagers will take this out. Of course, there's plenty of longbows behind as well. There's not the villagers, and yeah, I don't think it's time he'll be able to emergency repair the Palace of Swabia. It will be over, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed this castle game nonetheless. And if you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. More importantly, I'll leave an end card on your screen right now where you can check out a game between Beasty and potentially a new pro player in Age of Empires 4. Take care, and see you next time.